Hello, I want to go through a new feature added into 4.40 release, which is our September 30th, 2022 release, specifically in the area of utilities. I've got a different video where we talk about the component ID change, but I want to talk about the component stocking unit of measure change on this particular video. We added this screen because over the past number of years, we've had clients come to us and say, I set up an inventory item with the wrong unit of measure. I've been using it. I want to make that change. Let's say that I originally had it in pounds and I want to go to gallons, as an example. That can be done. We have typically had to do it behind the scenes, especially for existing formulas and things like that. So this utility will allow you to take a single component and change from its existing stocking unit of measure in vicinity and change it in a number of different places within vicinity itself. So first off, I want to do is I want to just inquire an item, and I'm intentionally picking an item that's going to throw an error. This specific error is saying that the component stocking unit measure can't be changed because it's in one or more open batches. You would need to go and deal with those specific batches. Probably ops close them, maybe substitute a raw material, but in any case, this raw material can't be sitting in an open batch to run the utility. We're not going to let you handle that, do that process. So I'm going to pick up a different item that I know is not in a batch. DCRM 15, and what I'm talking about now is changing from a stocking unit measure pound to some other stocking unit of measure. In my example, I'm going to go with gallons. Now you note that I already have a conversion factor, an alternate unit of measure from pounds to gallons. That maybe over in my ERP system, I'm needing to change that unit of measure. It's just working better for me if the stock unit of measure would be in gallons. Note that I've got a conversion factor here of 8.3. I can tell the system that I want to go pick up the unit of measure gallons and make that change. Now the system is showing you the alternate units of measure. You're going to need to deal with these alternate units of measure just like you would in the alternate unit of measure schedule on the component itself. So you need to look at these quantities. Don't just accept them and process them because they're not going to be right. You need to set the alternate unit of measure conversion to get to that stocking unit of measure. In this case, if we remember correctly, we had a conversion factor of 8.3. In this case 8.3 pounds per gallon. We're showing you that same sample calculation that we show in the alternate unit of measure screen on component entry. So 83 pounds gets converted to 10 gallons. That feels about right. If I continue with this process and go look at bags, I had 50-pound bags. If I do the math on that, I get to a number of 41.3. In this case, I would need to look at this. 10 bags is how many gallons, or X number of bags is how many gallons. So I want to keep it like this, and it would tell me that 10 bags is going to end up being 413 gallons. Just giving me that sample calculation. This is all standard stuff that you should be seeing in your alternate unit of measure setup screen. We just moved it here so you can get a good feel for what's going on. But I do want to tell you that you need to fill these in. We're not doing the calculation automatically for you. Then the bottom section is really just saying when we find this item, DCRM 15, in a formula, what do you want us to do with the quantity? Because we're changing that stocking unit of measure. Do you want us to hold the display quantity, however it's displayed in the form? You want us to hold that constant and then adjust the component around that, or do you want us to go to the stocking unit of measure and hold that constant, taking the display and the weight and the volume potentially changing? Or do you want me to go to the system weight or the system volume? In my demo environment, that's pounds and gallons. For others, it might be kilos and liters, etc. This is also functionality that you see in the unit of measure, the mass component maintenance screen, where you can substitute one item for another. It's the same concept that's just being shown here. We're just needing to change the stocking unit of measure, and when you do that, we have to go back and recalculate weights and volumes and things like that. And then we're basically doing the same thing on the end item bill of material. This happens to be a raw material that I'm using in a formula itself, an ingredient, a chemical, that type of thing. But it could also be a packaging item. So it may be sitting on the packaging schedule on the bill of material associated with an end item being produced. Now, this is an all or nothing proposition. It's going to go and change all, this item, but it's also going to go change all formulas that it's in, etc. So you're not hand picking which ones you're wanting to do. You would just hit the process button and it would go and make that change. So this was a result of some clients coming to us asking for utility so they could do this themselves. We're happy to provide it. We've gone through this process a good bit, especially with the mass component maintenance screen. It's beat up pretty good. We also have been doing a number of scripts doing this manually for clients for a number of years. So we feel fairly confident with it, but like anything that's new, just be careful with it, especially utility like this. If you have the ability to do a backup before that in SQL, I would suggest that. Anyway, I think that's it. Let us know what we can do to help out. If other types of utilities, it was great to hear that from you, and we're looking forward to get it into the application. Thanks a lot and have a great day.